one of the things that I'm realizing about making these YouTube videos is that as I learn about how to make YouTube videos, the realization that a big part of it is questions and answers. I mean, let's think about it for a second, okay? What is YouTube? YouTube is a place where people go to either be entertained or to learn something. I can't think of any other reasons why someone would go onto YouTube. So, with that being said, that's kind of like the preface, all right? If you want to be a YouTuber, you want to be successful on YouTube in whatever kind of metric you want to define as success on YouTube, you either have to be an entertainer or an educator. And between those two options, I think that I would probably fall more on the education side because, like I said, the goal is to have relative success on YouTube. That's the reason why people go, and if people don't come to watch your videos, there's no point. So the route that I'm taking at the moment, I think, is more the entertainment route, because this is like a vlog style thing, and usually people don't go to vlog style videos to learn something. So the fact that I have spent very little time thinking about that is kind of a sign that I need to think about that. There's these certain little levers and pulleys that you can pull and manipulate to make the system work better for you. And the fact that I haven't thought about that, and it's one of the major levers that I need to be able to pull, is it's a sign of my inexperience, I guess, which is okay. You learn as you go, right? So I need to decide how I want to do that. My gut's telling me educator. I would like to educate people, but then I also have to define what it is that I'm teaching. And I do know stuff. There is a lot of stuff that I know, but I need to define that and make it specific and be like, okay, my YouTube channel is about this, and I am educating people on this topic. So I think that it needs to be coding related because that's one of the things that I know. It's one of the things that I like and enjoy. So it's got to be, teaching people how to program or something like that. The problem is with that particular topic is that it's difficult to teach in the car, which is when I have all of the time. There's not everything is created equal, right? Like some things are easier to teach in the car than others. Some topics are easier to grow on YouTube than others. Some what do you call it? Some things are just easier than others. So, for example, let's just come up with a quick example. What's something business that's easier to start than other businesses? A restaurant. A restaurant is notoriously difficult to get going. You need a lot of money. You need to be skilled. You need to be able to manage. There's a lot of resources that you've got to be able to manage really well. That's a very difficult business to start. Whereas something like a photography business, which my wife did have a photography business, that's a lot easier to start compared to, no business is, every business has got its nuance to it, but some businesses are just easier to start than others. And I think that it's the same case with finding something to teach on YouTube. Some topics are easier to get going than others, and not everything is as in demand as everything else. So, you know, obviously, if you are starting a photography business, there's not as big a need for that as there is for as a restaurant. I mean, but everybody goes to restaurants. There's a lot more customers. There's a lot of demand there. You know, there's tons of people that are looking for new restaurants to go to. Photography is a little bit different. It's like a lot of people don't even need a photographer. You know what I mean? There are people that do, but the demand is not as high. So you run the businesses differently based on demand. So I think that the things that I need to think about is the supply and demand ratio for whatever topic that I decide to teach, and what is it that I'm going to try and teach. Because I could focus on entertainment or I could focus on teaching. And I think that focusing on teaching is the better option for me. Not because I don't think that I'm entertaining, but it's just not my space. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own space. I'm not going to be into chasing the thrills, you know. So if it's going to be coding related, I'm going to have a tough time teaching that in the car. It could be like business related. I've never really run my own business like that though, so it's going to be difficult to teach something that I don't know. I do know a lot about photography though. That is one thing that I do know. I do know quite a bit about photography. So I don't know what the supply and demand curve is on photography on YouTube. I'm pretty sure there's tons of photography videos out there as it is. I know that there's a ton of how to do YouTube kind of videos, and I wouldn't be able to teach that anyways because I have no experience. I do know quite a bit about art and photography. I know some things about how to work the machines that I operate at work. There's a few things that I know about. I know a little bit about productivity, although I'm not necessarily been doing very well at that lately, but I know a fair bit about it. What are some other things that I know about? So I think that the key is, to get those two things right. Find out where the supply and demand curve is, and then focus your channel on on a single topic. Like, those are probably the biggest. Oh, and consistency, that's the other thing. So right now I'm working on the consistency. Those are, like, I believe, the 3 pillars of YouTube. Consistency, finding a specific topic that your YouTube channel is about, and then making sure the supply and demand curve is right. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. I haven't figured out how to execute that, especially considering that I'm making videos in the car. I haven't figured out how to do the supply and demand curve, but I know that it's something that needs to be done. So I'm going to try focusing on that and seeing for the next couple of days if I can come up with some ideas that are actually doable for me, because not everything is doable. Like with coding, like I would love to be able to teach someone how to code, but is it actually doable? It's going to be difficult in the car. So I need to do something that I can actually do. I'm going to be thinking about that. If you have any ideas or you have questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think about some of this stuff, because I'm trying to figure it all out. I know that this is the route that I want to go, because it's something that number one, I've wanted to do for a while, a long while. And then number two is that I've done things like this in the past, and I know that I'm good at it, or decent at it. I know that it doesn't look like that because I'm just sitting on the car recording on my phone, but I do know, or in theory, I do know how to make a decently high quality video, but it does take a little bit of time and production value, which is why I'm doing this in the car. But I want to know what you think about all of this stuff, because I want to see if I'm flawed and I'm not thinking straight, or you have other ideas or something that I never thought of. So yeah, leave a comment in the below. I would love to hear from you. Also, if you're interested in this kind of project, me starting a YouTube channel, please subscribe, and we will see if we can turn this into something great. Anyways, all right, thanks for watching. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.